right, welcome. And you have been pulled into the black dimension. This is Kev, Roger, and Donnie. And we are here for our first throwback where we will go back in time and pull out some of the greatest films of all time and some not so great. And we thought that it would be appropriate to start with this film right here since its franchise is returning to the big screen on Christmas Day 2021. This film is called The Matrix. And what I have to say about this film is cultural impact. Okay, what's going on?
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen? Uh, this is the movie that, in my estimation, just simply changed Hollywood. I just look at it from a movie and television perspective as there's pre-Matrix, and then there's post-Matrix. So, to me, yeah, the change was massive and significant, just massive.
Um, yeah, I mean, movie was cool to me. I think wasn't this the movie that inspired them Columbine shooters? The trench coat mafia. This was a cool movie at the era. It had everything you wanted. It was a shoot 'em up flick. It had that dystopian future. It had a computerized element to it, and it had an overly used amount of sunglasses. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it certainly was. And what I was talking about with cultural impact is the many tropes that it started. I mean, seriously, the bullet time thing, the the red pill, blue pill. Just some of us know about that. I mean, many things. But like I said, but one thing immediately that people would think about the Matrix is this scene right here. I mean, let me give you a fun fact about this film. A lot of people didn't know what this film was going in. I mean, the ad campaign, the television ad campaign. I'm sorry. It was these commercials that kept saying, "What is the Matrix?" Like, literally, like before I seen this film, I knew absolutely nothing about it. But until I watched, like, the the film's first scene. Like, I knew something that was like extraordinary when the agents walked up, and I knew they were outside of Secret Service. I knew this is kind of Men in Black thing. And when Trinity started going, I was like, damn, what's going on here? Why does she seem like she got superpowers? But yeah, this little crane kick thing, and and also once you met Thomas Anderson, they started making all these I would say Alice in Wonderland references, which really reverberates throughout the entire film franchise. So yeah, I mean, even the performances that were put on in the film itself, especially I thought like Lawrence Fishburne, although he got annoying in the film sometimes, and Hugo Weaving really, it put on an iconic performance as Agent Smith. What about you, fellas? What would have jumped out of this film?
Isn't this the movie that revived Keanu Reeves? Keanu. Because before this, I don't remember him in anything that was memorable other than what Speed.
Point Break, Speed, Johnny Mnemonic, uh,
Are we really gonna talk about that? That was
Bill and Ted.
Johnny Mnemonic was bad, but yeah, everything prior to that, he was like his best role at that point was probably Speed. Of course, you can't kill Bill and Ted, but Johnny Mnemonic. Let's come on, man. That shouldn't even be like. I'm ashamed you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean Keanu, he was always around. I mean, he had highs and he had lows, but you can pretty much say that about the Matrix and his current film franchise, John Wick. John Wick brought him back again, but we're talking about the Matrix here, of course. So yeah, Yeah, I really liked this film. I really did. The whole computer aspect, the whole something's not right. You know, we're living in an artificial world is really something that you can relate to in real life for people who are the kind that look to that look to look at their lives and say, hey, there might be some stuff going on in the underculture.
Man, this movie was so good. I literally can remember where I was when I seen it. And you don't that don't happen to too many films that you go to that you just can absolutely remember where you was because of the movie. Not because it's the place you go to all the time, not because it's your first time going to the movies. But the movie's so good, you just remember where you was. And that's what the Matrix was for me. The, I had no idea what was really going on. I met a friend. I was I was downtown at the time. I was with some friends. Met another friend. One of my friends had just seen it. He was just going off on how great this movie was, and he really couldn't explain it to us. It was crazy that the dude really couldn't explain to us what was going on. But he was like, "You got to see it. It's absolutely amazing." When I got there, it was not overhyped at all. As much as I remember him screaming about how good this movie was, he did not overhype it. It was everything and more. Real talk, because it was mind blowing at the time. Because before this movie, there was nothing like this out ever. Like this concept on screen, I had never seen before, and it's probably one of the most referenced movies over the internet today. That's what I would assume. Not that I've counted, but I would assume there's more references and different things to this particular movie than probably anything else out there.
I mean, that's real shit. This movie has had quite the impact. The movie was iconic in so many different ways. But I like even now, every time you see a clip, just them damn sunglasses. I wonder how much Ray Ban made off of this movie.
Old to be an investor at that time.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, hey, check this image out. The endless "What have I told you" memes that you see. What have I told you that I'm tired of this picture being a meme? That kind of thing. Like it's it just doesn't like end with this movie. Like even today in today's climate, and this movie also succeeded in starting a franchise that is iconic as film franchises such as Star Wars, Star Trek. Uh, it's just is crazy, and I mean it's crazy for a film that for myself, I don't remember if it even had that much hype behind it. Maybe you guys remember, but I don't remember everybody talking about, man, we got to go see this Matrix film. Like it was really a surprise hit, and it just reverberates even until today.
Yeah, the first Matrix wasn't. There wasn't a lot of because there was no fans at the time. There's no fanfare behind it. It wasn't a big lead up to it. That I remember that movie hit and it was on like Donkey Kong thereafter, and the subsequent movies that followed. A huge cult following. I remember going to the movie theaters, at the midnight showing just to go see this movie, being packed theaters, being mad because we didn't get there on time to get the good seats. This movie generated so much buzz after the fact, but I don't remember shit prior to this movie coming out.
Man,
Like I
this
said,
movie, I don't remember any real buzz at all about this movie. Just to be honest to God, true. I think this movie, honestly, really super succeeded just off word of mouth. The movie was
yeah,
so good and it was so
yeah.
unexplainable that people just couldn't shut up about it.
And Donnie, it's funny you say it was a midnight showing for me too. It was like an employee thing, and still like it was still with the same amount of hype, like as it was they said that this movie's really supposed to be really good, and I was like, well, okay, I'll just go anyway. We took some shots, went over there, and wow, I mean. Let me tell you something. Let's discuss favorite scenes. Like I would have to say, my favorite scene in the film was the lobby scene, like how like they just walked up in there, they went through the metal detector. It was all the way red, opened up the jacket, and the cop was just like, oh shit. It was just bullets and flipping and just kicking ass and like just mowing down folks. It was crazy, man. It was like it was like this movie was different. It was like it pulled off a lot of first time things. Like with this being a, I mean, they did a lot of things with the way the film was set up and being able to bend reality. They created some real cool things. The Wachowski brothers. Well, they were the Wachowski brothers at the time, but uh,
Part, what do you mean, Give? But no, yeah, yeah. I mean, this movie affected so much. Uh, like you said, Bullet Time. Bullet Time kicked in, and that was a feature that was on damn near every game that came out. Remember Max Payne and all these movies had that damn Bullet Time. Everything would slow down. I mean, it was a lot of acid and LSD going on when they came up with this movie. This movie was a trip.
Man, you are absolutely correct. I'm sure. You absolutely no way for us to really know, but I'm pretty sure you're right because
I
this
mean,
really changed the game. To
how
think
do
of
you
these
come up
particular
with the
companies,
concept?
man. Yeah, I mean, no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and I gotta say, the lobby scene was my favorite scene as well. And I remember specifically the raining bullets. When they let off in that lobby and them bullets got to raining down, I was like, oh my god, this here's super serious right here. This is super serious.
What I think one of my favorite was the dodging of the bullets. The way that man's back bent. There you go. The dodging of the bullets. The way that man's back bent, and he was like, "Nah, nah, nah. These bullets ain't gonna hit me." That's what killed it for me. I think that's what made my eyes buck a little bit. It was a fresh plate of butter biscuits in front of me as soon as this scene popped out. You could have called me Uncle Ben. It was insane to me.
man, let me tell you something. How many forms of media imitated scenes from this film, the film itself? How many parodies that were made. I mean, Roger said something. It was like, okay, there were films before the Matrix, and then there were films after the Matrix. Watching it again, right before we did this. I mean, I was telling Roger. I mean, like, I really forgot how great this film was. And it led to two more films, and I'm sure we'll discuss those in the future. Video games. I think it had some television streaming media too. No, no, no. It had the Animatrix.
The Animatrix,
Yeah, the
the
Animatrix.
video game was trash, but
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of the role. Like Blade was trash too, but that all those video games were just trash. They just couldn't do it right.
yeah.
But there was a lot of major things that is affected. Now I remember watching Smallville, which was a good show back in the day, but I distinctly remember it being so good, and I started noticing all the things they did that they kind of took from the Matrix. And I remember saying this to me, I was like, "No, you know that TV show Smallville? That show good. Y'all remember the Matrix? It got all kinds of stuff like this, kind of like Matrix, like in a TV show." And I was pulled in to another show because of how much like this movie it was. Not that I didn't like Superman and things like that. I'm sure it could have caught me anyway, but you know what I'm saying? What they were doing was stuff that really came from the Matrix, just made it that much more amazing. So yeah, I think if you're like an older person and you don't show your kids the Matrix, it's almost like you're not even a good parent, you know? They need to see this stuff.
Now, I do think it's going to be interesting to see this movie and then go watch the new Matrix that comes out this month, right? Um, and see the difference in the progression of Keanu Reeves, because after this he started being a gun nut and he started learning how to practically hold guns and use them correctly, and that translated on the screen. So I'm curious what it's going to be in the next Matrix. Is he going to hold the gun differently? Is he going to be a little bit more tactical? I wonder what time is going to do to that movie franchise.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a different kind of climate. Let me tell you. Yeah, they do have a second trailer out for the Matrix Resurrection, so it looked pretty interesting. But yeah, what else? Another thing I want to say about this film is really they established two leads, each one being the opposite. Smith being the one which was an anomaly on the good side, and Agent Smith, who was an anomaly on the the antagonist side. He basically wanted to be free and wanted to do his thing because he really hated the Matrix. He didn't like it, and that made him like the really the main antagonist for the entire trilogy. And his growth as a character, as well as Keanu Reeves as a character, was very important to all of this. And
And he did an iconic job. Honestly, just to hear somebody say Mr. Anderson the way he says it, it does something now. You
Mr.
know.
Anderson.
So I'm pretty sure he's changed the life of anybody out there with the last name Anderson. You know, especially if you in school. You know, I'm pretty sure even school kids would get messed with by their teacher. Because you had those teachers. There are some teachers who call people Mister and Mrs. and whatever their last name is. I'm pretty sure all of them was hearing that Mr. Anderson thing, and if they didn't know what was going on, I'm pretty sure it was kind of strange to them. But yeah, this film was absolutely fantastic. The story, like, I really have no idea how these folks sit down and wrote this movie. And honestly, the movie was so good and so incredible. I actually get the fact that, funny fact, Will Smith turned the movie role down because they tried to explain it to him and he really couldn't get the concept. And after seeing the movie, thinking about a pre-Matrix world, I can totally see how he did not get the concept because this movie was something else. And I know it was extremely hard to explain to somebody else what was going on in this particular film. And honestly, if I had the time to do it at the time I saw it, I would have went right back into the theater and watched this one again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and how different would it have been if Will Smith would have accepted the lead role? But at the same time, though, coincidentally, his wife accepted a role in this franchise. Captain Niobe. But yeah, but if I would say if Will Smith would accepted, it'd have been Will Smith as Neo. Like it'd have been Will Smith, like it is. But you can say the same thing for Keanu Reeves. Every role he's Keanu basically.
Yeah, but Keanu's a different, same type of guy every movie. Like Will Smith, I don't know. I think it was for the best. Will Smith didn't get this role. Um, it maybe it could have launched him into because he's a megastar already, but it would have put him in another tier of megastardom if Will Smith did this. But the way it was, there was a lot of dry parts, and I just don't think Will Smith at the time was an actor that really could have pulled this. Because when was this? This was during Men in Black. This was during Wild Wild West era. I don't think I would have taken this movie as serious. Keanu Reeves was probably the better fit for this character, so that worked out.
Yeah, and then would Trinity have been the same actress?
And then you also remember this when this movie came out, and I remember watching MSNBC or something like that, CNN, and they had the scene where they were in the lobby tearing that lobby up, and it was controversial. They were talking about how this makes kids want to shoot people. In addition to that Columbine shit that was going on, they were talking about how this scene and movies like it are ruining the youth and causing them to do all this controversy. Will Smith's not an actor known for doing controversial movies. So would this have taken a toll? Because Will Smith would have came in there and been like, "Listen, we can't do all this. Can we shoot them with some? Can we take away a little bit of the blood?" I just don't see the movie being what it was with Will Smith. I just don't. The movie was too controversial at the time, and that's the way it should have been.
I feel the exact opposite way. I think Will Smith could have did the hell out of this role. He'd have made it a little bit cooler, but it still would have been a fantastic movie. But now the thing is, they said if they had if they would have casted Will Smith, they would have wanted Val Kilmer as Morpheus.
And that makes sense.
Now I'm not sure on the Val Kilmer part, And
Shit, me
I,
neither.
Well,
yeah,
you know what? They would have had to do Val Kilmer because, for one, you can't have a black hero without a white savior. And then that's too much blackness going on. You have a Morpheus coming in and teaching a black man how to go in here and take down the system. White people couldn't have had that. Mm-mm.
And
I'm
let me tell you something about Morpheus. If you really like notice, like in watching the film, that Morpheus was a very mentally strong character, very mentally strong. Like they were really messing him up. Like the agents when they were trying to interrogate him to get the access code design, he would not give up, and they would even considering pulling the plug on him, like back in real life. But yeah, it was like that. Lawrence Fishburne. I don't see the new actor Yahya Abdul Mateen. I don't see him really like capturing that, but I could be wrong. I mean,
The dude's name is Yaya. Is he British?
I think so. I
He'll
mean,
pull it off.
that's not
Damn,
that's not an American name.
yeah, them damn British pull it off. I don't know how them British do it. They got something going.
Yeah, man, they're really good actors and actresses. What can I say? But yeah, it was yeah. I really like this. I really like this conversation because this movie definitely takes me back. Like this movie is 22 years old, I believe, and it is aged really well. I mean, when I watched it, if the movie had come out today, it would still hold up. I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a different dynamic. That movie came out when I think StarTAC was the big phone, so everybody had those big ass blocky cell phones. One of the things is they had to run to phone booths in order to jack back into the Matrix. Them niggas would have been dead in the first 10 minutes. So I mean, things would have had to change, but I'm curious to see how they're going to do it in this new Matrix movie. Because remember, phone booths. When the last time you seen a phone booth?
Man, Elva. So I said,
You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're gonna have to change some things, make some things adapt. I I'm curious to see how they're gonna do this new. I just really am.
yeah, had people around here, around the country trying to bend spoons with their mind. I mean, shoot, I know y'all tried it a couple times. I can't be the only one.
You're young, Give. You're young.
Uh, well, yeah. It was
I
20
still
years ago.
ain't figured it out. I still ain't figured it out. I've been
Yeah,
trying for
yeah, it was over
22
20
years.
years ago, y'all. Just
So what you do is you use your thumb and you just push it. It
yeah,
looks like you did it with your mind.
yeah. They had come be look what I did. No, they gonna look at you now. You could, but anyway, man, yeah, this has been a pretty good throwback right here. One of the great films of our time. It was actually a science fiction film that did not take any ideas from anyone else, which made it very special. And yeah, it's yeah. If you have a chance, if you haven't seen it, I don't see how because you've had over 20 years to see it. But just in case, hey, this is a pretty good film to watch, The Matrix. So, any other thoughts on this, Donnie, Roger?
Nah, I'm good on it.
All right.
Y'all put in your stocks for Ray-Ban this time around. It's coming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know if any new trends can be set, but we shall see. Roger. Okay. All right then. Well, that's it. This has been our first throwback. We will definitely come back to you if you so happen to think about a movie that you liked or enjoyed in the past. Submit it in the comment section, and we'll definitely see what we can do about getting that broadcast done. So this is Kev, Donnie, and Roger. You have been pulled into the black dimension. Good luck finding your way out.